Yeah.
So let's play a game. What? But I still think it's an interesting conversation.
Wait. Sacks or quarterback stat.
Oh, hell no.
Still got a few more to go.
Slow down, baby.
That's fair.
Finish him, Daddy.
Additionally,
Do you want to guess the last two?
Now it's my turn.
Because of how dangerous he is with his feet.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
And I think there's an interesting conversation.
No, God.
You know, that's just the nature of the beast in this business.
Daddy.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Hashtag Sports. I am Paul. That is, I got it right. That's
Hey.
Ryan. Mario is off tonight. Welcome to the show. Happy Monday. So Ryan, we have finally made it to the playoffs, and in a season where we were talking about the Bills possibly being, number one seed or a bust, here we are going to Jacksonville, right? Oh, it's just how you draw it up, right? Just how you draw it up. Now, I think, and first up, I want to thank our sponsor before we get too deep, Mr. Rogers Homes. Thank you, Sean, for sponsoring this season, as well as through the playoffs. If you're looking for real estate in Arizona, make sure you click the link in our description for his buyer's guide. So I think it's really important to call out that Buffalo is not supposed to be the favorite here, right? Wild card teams are not supposed to be the favorite, although it appears this season every wild card team is the favorite, right? Like you got Pittsburgh that just basically a strong wind gust away from missing the playoffs, right? You have Jacksonville, who in historically one of the worst conferences or worst divisions in the conference for the last X number of years, right? And, then you have the AFC East, which, I mean, it is what it is, right? So Buffalo can't lock down the conference. So what happens here, right? I think this Jaguars team is going to be a lot harder to beat than I think a lot of Bills fans probably want to admit to. Like, this is a really good football team. We've got some numbers here. So before we get into all that, Ryan, you were at the game. You said goodbye to the stadium and what is most likely going to be the last game there. We could talk about what it would take for Buffalo to get one more game in that stadium, but walk me through what that was like for you having spent. How many years have you had seasons? Aren't you at you're double digits, right?
Yeah, 21, I think was this year. So yeah, I mean, it was a bittersweet day. It was a day kind of, as soon as the schedule came out, it was circle on the calendar game. And it was like, what's the last regular season game? And I think the Bills, to their credit, they did it right. They did the pomp and circumstance. They did the special helmets, the special uniforms, which were
I loved.
I mean, oh my God!
Put that in my veins. Put it in my veins.
And it was just offset the red socks and the red undershirts and the red helmets and it was just fantastic, right? And so you drive up to the stadium, snow, weather. The weather's kind of turning. It's a late afternoon game. You walk over and it's kind of in the shadow, as you walk down Abbott Road, right? The old stadium's to your left, the brand new stadium's going up to your right. I mean, you've done that walk with me a couple times now, Paul, after last year and then this year, and seeing it, just rising to your right is just unbelievable to look at. It's just a very surreal feeling. Went and did the Rock Power Report, Grills Mafia tailgate, which if you guys are ever at a game, make sure you head over to Doc's Lot, go to Drew and Chris, tell them that the guys from Hashtag Sports sent you over. They always treat you right. Those guys put on a tailgate that's second to none. Amazing food. They had TVs going with Red Zone. They had fires going. It was, as great a tailgate experience as you can get. And then you get into the stadium. They had the coins, they had the towels, they had the fireworks, they had the flyover, which they typically don't do in the late afternoon games. It was just, really well done from start to finish, I thought, from the Bills organization, which is something I've criticized them for over the last, probably 10 years or so. I felt like the game day experience really had taken a hit since Pagula took over. I felt like they had cheaped out in some areas. Not yesterday, though. I mean, yesterday was a very apropos send-off for the stadium, and then to go out and it was, the Mitch Biscuits game, right? We'll always remember that last game in the stadium. Mitch Trubisky goes out and has arguably one of the best games of his career, over 250 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Ty Johnson gets 2 touchdowns to get his bonus. Dawson Knox kicks things off at the start of the game with getting his incentive bonus. James Cook gets the rushing title.
Yep.
And then the end of the game, Mr. Brightside, and then the clock hits zeros and it's Goo Goo Dolls comes on. I mean, they played closing time, they did all the right things, right? And then the video at the end, with the old, the old players like Trey and Reed Ferguson, who like stayed on the field, watched the videos. It was great, man. I mean, it was a very great send off for what has been the reason to be a Bills fan for a very long time. I mean, when they were a drought team, like the Ralph was why you went. You didn't go to watch the football team, right? Like you went to tailgate, you went to be with your people. You went to kind of partake in what the day was. And this was really a throwback, to what that used to feel like. I thought the coins were a really nice touch. And, it was just, again, it's an experience that I'll remember forever. But I'm looking forward to the new stadium. Drew and I from the Rock Power Report were talking at the tailgate. Like, I will probably forever carry with me resentment of McDermott and Bean that they let this last game in the stadium be a Mitch Trubisky game.
Yeah, not meaning nothing.
With nothing to play for, right? Like, we looked at this. I mean, you and I talked during when you came to the game with me this season, the Chiefs game, and it was like, what would an AFC title game, what would those tickets cost? Right? AFC title game, last game in the stadium, chance to go to the Super Bowl. Like, what would those tickets go for? And here we are, like, looking at flights to Jacksonville. A lot,
and a lottery ticket to maybe dust off that stadium one more time, right? Like, it would be an absolute lottery ticket win to get one more game in that stadium. But we'll break through some of that. I do want to say that I think, the stadium is the stadium, right? It's one of the oldest stadiums in the league. It was a long time coming. And I think the reason the tailgate experience is the way that it is was, one, a coping mechanism, right? But let's not pretend like this was cultivated only during the drought years, right? This is the product of a football stadium, a major moneymaker dropped in a residential neighborhood, right? Like this is what it is. And it's something that you just don't see anymore. You will not see major market teams ever drop a football stadium in a residential area. So Buffalo alone, it is a dinosaur. Even though you're getting a new stadium, the fact still remains that, its location being where it is still going to preserve a vast majority of the things that, make that stadium, this new stadium, such a great addition, right? And that was sort of the problem that I had with moving the stadium downtown. I just had a big old problem with it. Didn't love it, and because you knew that you were gonna be missing out on that.
Yeah, I mean, and I was one too. Like, don't move it downtown. Like, just from an infrastructure perspective, like, it was a nightmare, right? Like, there's one way into downtown, there's one way out. Like, the absolute like gridlock that would have caused, but also you were going to lose that, right? Like, you were going to shift from the tailgate atmosphere to the bars atmosphere, right? Which, at 40, like, and getting older, like, I'm not a bar guy anymore. I haven't been a bar guy in probably 15 years, right? Like, I don't want to go to a bar like before a football game. Like, I want to go hang out outside in the fresh air and like smell the grills and party with people that I love to party with, and like all walk around, and you were just going to lose that atmosphere,
right?
And I think the new stadium will save that atmosphere, which I think is super important.
Right. Well, let's get moving on. So we talked about now what, but let's move on to probably the most important topic of the evening is, do we get a full 4 quarters of Buffalo Bills football, right? Like, we've talked about it all season. It has just felt like you get 1 to 2 quarters of Buffalo Bills football, right? Like, it's been the second half Bills. This is, it's been frustrating at times. So do we get 4 quarters? And actually, do we get one of the 4 horsemen joining us tonight? What's up, buddy? How you doing? I didn't know you were here.
Listen, I'm no Dally Winston, but you can't have a rumble without me.
I just want to point out you're very Aaron Rodgers right now with the black Scully, the yellow. Like you're very Rodgers right now.
That's fine. I've learned to accept that.
Okay, that's fair. So we're just getting into the topic of what do you expect for the Bills? Are you finally going to get 4 quarters of football? And I think that's sort of been one of the big bugaboos about this team, as you've seen teams keep up with a Bills team that they probably had no business keeping up with. And especially when you start looking at Jacksonville, I don't think people give Jacksonville enough credit for the type of team that they actually are. I pulled up some stats before we got going tonight, and the Bills averaged 28.3 points scored during the season. Jacksonville's right behind them at 27.9. This is a team that puts up points. So if you think this is just a Jacksonville team that scores 20 and prays to God that they can hold another team off, you got another thing coming. This defense, the Jacksonville defense, actually allowed less points than the Bills defense this season. And the Bills have the number 1 rated pass defense. So I think there's a lot to go into this game that certainly doesn't make it a rollover game, even though Buffalo is going to be the favorites here on the road. We've talked about it. Josh Allen's 0-4 on the road in the playoffs, but Sean McDermott is no better. So I want to go to Mario and then to Ryan, because I know Ryan's just chomping it. I can see you salivating about an 0-5.
I had 10 minutes before Mario joined, so I'm good to let him get in here.
Yeah,
he knew to join late because he knew I'd do my diatribe at the start.
That's
of the
fair. That's fair.
Season ticket. I'll let you go, man.
So, Mar, like, this is a game that is this a game that's going to end up as a 3-point game, right?
Yeah.
Is this another down to the wire game?
This is 100%.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think I've been telling everybody at work it's going to be one of those games, because you just have, the ghost of Christmas past come up all the time. It's going to be 31-28 Jacksonville, and Josh Allen accounts for all 4 touchdowns, where he can't get any help from his defense because they're trying to be too cute. I mean, you got to think about it this year. Of the 5 losses that the Buffalo Bills have had this year, 3 of them, they held their opponent quarterback under 200 yards. Now, in today's NFL, you hold your opponent's quarterback under 200, you should win that game 9 times out of 10. And even if you do stop their explosive passing game with, arguably your fastest corner now out of the game, it's going to be a rough going for that team. And I mean, we got our reprieve this week where nobody had to worry about the Jets the entire game. Everyone enjoyed it. It was a party. I'm sure Ryan told you at the onset, it was a party the entire game. But everyone is going to be white knuckled this game, because every third down is going to be so costly. All these things that go on with the Buffalo Bills that have been going on all year, you're going to see that. You're going to see that happen again with this team. And the thing is, how many times can this guy throw on the cape? Now, I understand he had the leading rusher in the league. I understand that, which severely took away from a lot of his stats, but he still had 39 total touchdowns with the leading rusher on his team. I mean, for me, everyone keeps talking about that with the MVP race. I know we can probably get into that a little bit later if you guys want to, but the thing is, if you take Drake May off of the Patriots, they're still, I think, a 10-win team. If you take Josh Allen off of the Bills, they're the Jets. They're a team with a dynamic running back. That's it. Like a defensive head coach. That's what you have. So going into this game, I'm going to be very concerned with the third downs. I'm going to be very concerned with McDermott's management of the game and how it flows and what's going on with the rookie head coach that he has across the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, this is a team that's won 8 straight. They've won 9 of 10. They've got 10 games in a row that they've scored 23 points or more. Like, this is a team that's red hot. Like, you can point to every single team in the playoffs, and there is not a team on either side of the conferences that's hotter than Jacksonville right now, right? Like, 8 wins in a row does not happen on accident in the NFL. That this is a good football team. You can question who they've played over that stretch, right? Like, they haven't really played any impressive teams. It's been, I mean, I'll just read through it, right? Raiders, they lost to the Texans. Chargers, Cardinals, Titans, Colts, Jets, Broncos, Colts, Titans. Right? So, 23 points a game. They haven't really beaten anybody. But, I mean, Buffalo almost lost to Cleveland. Buffalo got boat raced by Miami, right? Like, this football team can lose to good football teams. And I think you can make the argument that Jacksonville's a very good football team. Mario, to go along with your point about the 200-yard passers, they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher all season.
Yeah.
This Jacksonville defense has not allowed a 100-yard rusher all season. And Paul, we looked it up before the show started. The Bills are 8-1 when James Cook rushes for 100 yards or more.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And the Jags
Critical.
have not allowed a single 100-yard rusher all season.
Yeah,
so this
right.
is going to be a game. I mean, this is a game where going into yesterday, before we kind of saw what happened in Indy and Houston, we were talking about at the tailgate, like all eyes on Jonathan Taylor first because of the Cook thing, but we also were like, hey, look at Indy, like maybe the Bills can squeak out the 5 seed here. We started to get into like, who do you want to play? Paul, we talked about it last week. Like, who did you want to play? Jacksonville wasn't a team that came out of either yours or my mouth last week, right? Like, I didn't want to play Jacksonville, and yesterday at the tailgate, like, still didn't want to play Jacksonville. This is a good football team, right? They've got a good quarterback who has very Josh Allen-esque, at least over the last couple of seasons. He's cleaned up his mistakes. And I know Mario kind of gets a little tense when I say Josh Allen-esque about anybody, right? But just in terms of like cleaning up the mistakes, like he's not hurting his team anymore like he used to. ETN rushed for 1,100 yards this season. They've got Parker Washington who's coming on. He's got almost 1,000 yards receiving on the season.
Mm-hmm.
They've still got Brian Thomas who can take the top off of a defense if you let him. He's had, hasn't had a great game in quite some time, but he's a guy that can get deep, and Buffalo has been vulnerable to those deep shots this season. So then you couple in, like, you're not going to have Oliver, which, we know he's not going to be back. You're not going to have Hairston, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Could you have Matt Prater back? I don't know. Like, it doesn't sound like he's going to be ready to go. So if you talk about a 3-point game, Mario, one team is looking for a kicker this week. The other kicker hit a 67-yard field goal yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
they're in field goal range in midfield.
Football game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this to be a 3-point football game. Like, this gives a lot of, like, Josh gets the lead and then he's on the sideline watching as that team just kind of like matriculates the ball down the field for the last minute and 40, gets into field goal range, kicks a field goal, and your season's over, right? Like, it could go there, or it could go Josh throws on his cape, the defense does enough, and you beat them by 2 touchdowns. Like, I don't know that there's going to be a middle ground between this two. I don't know that Buffalo wins a close one here against Jacksonville. I just think Jacksonville's got too many weapons on offense and defense for Buffalo to win a close football game in this one.
So I'm going to counter a little bit there, right? So first off, the Bills, if you're looking at leading receivers, right? Shakir had 72 receptions. Parker Washington leads the Jags with 58. Mm-hmm. The difference, though, is while Shakir had 72 and Parker Washington had 58, mind you, really just in the back half of the season, right? Yep. The fall off between the next leading receiver on the Bills is Dalton Kincaid at 39. Like, it is night and day difference as far as, this passing offense. It is Shakir gets most of the targets or most of the receptions, and then it is just everybody else, right? Like, it's Dalton Kincaid at 39, Keon Coleman at 38. And admittedly, we still don't even know if we're going to see Keon Coleman active in the playoffs, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I have to imagine maybe not, right? Like, maybe not. But even with a running back like Travis Etienne, you'd kind of expect him to be a little bit more involved in the passing game, but he catches the ball on average just as often as Bills running backs do. Like, it's so, like, as much as I want to agree and disagree, while I think the Jags offense, you can say they have more weapons, I think they do a good job of dispersing a little bit more evenly than the Bills offense does. But I think that's all you can really say. Like, this is the 12th rated defense against the run. And yes, they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, but I'm expecting Josh to run for 50 and James Cook to run for 70. Like, if I could do that, I've had a successful day. And I think that's the dynamic the Bills bring that kind of throws that argument, into the wood chipper, right? Yeah, no, I don't expect James Cook to run for 100 yards because nobody's run for 100 yards against the Jags. But I do expect Josh to be a primary runner, and his foot is a huge concern to me.
Yeah, guys, I was just looking off because Ryan made a great point earlier with you don't win 8 games in the NFL in a row on accident. You got to have a little bit of luck sometimes in there. And if you wanted to go and look at the players more specifically than teams that they played, I mean, you're talking about Davis Mills. You're talking about Justin Herbert, who attempts only 18 passes. You talk about Jacoby Brissett, Cam Ward, Phillip Rivers, guys. Like they haven't seen anybody like someone like Allen since week 5 when they played Kansas City and they beat them by 3. And they had a little luck on their side in that game as well. So if you're looking at it, all of those teams that they played, their primary goal was to stop the run because, okay, let's see if this quarterback can beat us. Now you have a two-headed monster in Allen and Cook that if you focus on one too much, the other one will burn you. So, and you have their leading tackler for the Jags, their middle linebacker, who's 30, who had like 150 tackles this year. So you got to get that guy going sideline to sideline and try to burn him out this season. Guy has over 1,000 tackles in his career. I can't pronounce his name or I'd say it. But the point is, you got a guy over there that, you know, Cook is good at going to the line and bouncing it, or they do those pitch plays. I don't know if he could get there with the speed that some of these other linebackers who have been able to get to Cook can get there. So that's one of the things that you have to try to figure out. The other thing you got to figure out is keeping yourself out of, you know, unmanageable situations as far as the third downs go. Like you literally cannot be in a 3rd and 10 against this Jaguars defense because they'll do things that the Jags will do. You know what I mean? They'll end up stopping you in that respect. So, I mean, Brady really has to come with it as far as his game plan goes and getting very manageable situations. And McDermott has to not worry about pulling the trigger in a playoff situation. You got 4th and 2 and you got that centaur back there. Go for it, dude. Don't do anything cute. Don't do anything stupid. I saw a tweet the other day that said there was no quick screen passes to the outside in this game against the Jets. Is he saving them all for the Jaguars? Like, what is he talking about? Usually when you have a backup in, you have your base offense that you run. Well, Trubisky's a 1st-round pick. Mm-hmm. So did they run just vanilla? Yeah. Did they really just run vanilla? Or did they run a lot of the stuff that we may see this Sunday against the Jags? It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, the tight end is the key, right? Like the Jags are one of the worst teams in the NFL against tight ends. So like, and that bodes well for Buffalo, right? Because their offense goes through the tight ends when they throw the football. So, I mean, I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on as the game progresses. You know, I mean, Paul, to your point, like they're going to have to get Josh on the move, I think, make him dangerous. Like, and that also will open up those running lanes, that duo run for James Cook, where he kind of, you know, gets into the pile, bounces it to the outside, and tries to beat guys at the corner. Like that's his bread and butter. But Mario, I mean, we know like offensively, like you're not going to find those rushing lanes if you can't figure out how to get Josh out of the pocket, heading towards the boundary, dangerous with his arm, dangerous with his legs. Like we you know, I've said it for a couple of years now. Like he's the most dangerous quarterback on the move in the NFL. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. He might be the most dangerous quarterback we've ever seen in the NFL when he's on the move. And that gets these guys back on their heels, right? Like the running lanes and up the middle start to widen out a little bit because now you're worried about Josh getting to that edge, and you can't let him get to the edge. You can't leave him one-on-one, even if it's Josh Allen for the Jags, right? Like you can't get a guy one-on-one with Allen in the open field because he's going to do that pump fake and he's going to go and he's going to kill you with his legs. Mario Mahomes, right? Like that game week 5, the last time that they saw a quarterback like Josh, Mahomes was the leading rusher for Kansas City that game. He had 60 yards on 6 carries and a touchdown, right? And then he had 350 through the air with a touchdown and an interception. Like that's a game that I absolutely could see Josh Allen having. And, you know, if that's the case, like I like their chances if they can get Josh. If Josh's ankle is healthy and they can get Josh on the move, I think that's where they do damage to this Jacksonville defense. If they're going to ask Josh for one reason or another to sit in the pocket, it's going to look a lot like that Houston game, and that's the type of game that worries me. Is they're going to go away from the run, they're going to ask Josh to do too much, and he's going to just stand in the pocket and get beat up all game, and they can't have that.
Yep. Yeah, totally agree. Now, I do want to point out, Mar, you brought up the Bills' third downs, staying third and manageable. So Buffalo is 4th in the league when passing on third down, right? With a almost 45% percentage, right? Yeah. Conversion percentage. So Buffalo's not afraid of third down, right? I think that's become pretty obvious. Like they're not afraid of third down, and really, nor should they, right? Nor should they be. I do think that there's when you try and extrapolate everything out from this game, right? I think this is a game that Bills fans probably feel a little bit more comfortable. You're not worried about Jacksonville running away on you, right? Because that's sort of been the bugaboo about the Bills defense this year. Is everybody kind of worries about, how many yards the defense is going to give up on the ground. To me, I think if you're Buffalo, you just want to maintain a 1-possession lead just the whole time, right? Just be comfortable, be in control, don't panic, score early, and then just keep them away, right? Like just keep them off. I really don't think Jacksonville's offense is going to be potent enough to try and keep up with the Bills, right? Like I struggle to see it. If the Bills can score early, I just don't believe that Jacksonville will be able to keep up with them, right? Like somebody had put it in there before earlier this year. Stafford put 5 on him, right? Like, Stafford threw 47 touchdowns this year, right? Like he had an incredible season. So I don't want to downplay the fact that Matt Stafford is not in the MVP conversation, because he probably should be the MVP this year. But like if you could get that early score and put Jacksonville back in their place, and then you just say, hey, listen, this is what a division winner looks like, right? Like, just to let you know, this is what a consummate, consistent division winner looks like. We're just here to remind you on your own turf. I think that advantage plays to Buffalo. I do not think home field advantage exists in Jacksonville. There's just too many Bills fans everywhere, man. There's just too many. They travel too heavy.
Yeah, I mean,
and you got a quarterback, and
they're one of the games that are the Bills are a road favorite, right? Like, home field advantage doesn't exist in a place like Jacksonville.
No.
So,
and you have this is Lawrence's 3rd playoff game in his career, and you hope that the experience of the Buffalo Bills players will outweigh the coaching in this game. You think?
I mean, didn't we all just celebrate McDermott winning his first challenge of the year 2 weeks ago? Like, weren't we all like super excited about that? Like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Mar. I totally understand where you're coming from there. Yeah.
Like, there's no quarterback really in this entire AFC playoffs that terrify you through the air. They're hot. Jacksonville's hot. There's no doubt about that. But you're talking about a relatively inexperienced team when it comes to the playoffs versus a team that's been snake bitten. So if the Bills happen to get down early, they're used to climbing out of that hole. Jacksonville is not. Jacksonville went down 21-0 to the Rams, and they couldn't climb out of that hole. So they tried to, make it a shootout, and it didn't work. But I mean, Lawrence will put the ball in harm's way. You just got to try to do something with it. And we've harked on McDermott's defense all year. I mean, they give up those crucial 3rd downs that just kill you sometimes. We haven't really seen this defense gassed. I haven't really like the entire year. Could you say like there were times where the Bills defense was gassed because the other team was on the field forever? I don't think there really was a scenario as far as, I mean, and that's the one thing that you can give credit to this coaching staff is that they rotate these guys all the time, so that there's fresh bodies in there all the time. But I got to tell you, man, if I see Cam Lewis on Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, like Paul, to go back to your point, like when it comes to McDermott, I think one of the things that's interesting to look at is his aggressiveness, and he kind of, it's weird because we've criticized him for kind of turtling in big moments in the playoffs, right? Like he goes that off coverage on 13 seconds, all of those things that we talk about, but he's actually statistically, he gets more aggressive in the postseason. He's over the last 3 seasons, he's gotten more aggressive on 4th down. So in 2023, the Bills only went for it 13 times on 4th down. 2024, they went for it 22 times. They went 41 times on 4th down this season. Like that's a huge jump for that team. But not only that, like he's gotten more aggressive in terms of percentage per game in the playoffs. So last season, again, they only went for it 22 times on 4th down. In the playoffs last year, they went for it 9 times. Like that's a big jump from just like a per game perspective, right? So I would expect And he talked about it in the Philadelphia game. I think you got a kind of a glimpse of that when they went for 2 and they asked him about it after the game. He's like, listen, I'll put the ball in Josh Allen's hands and I'll do it again, right? Like, he's gotten to the point where he understands that if Josh says he wants to go, that offense wants to go, like, you leave him on the field. And he's been better about that versus like, no, guys, come on, let's get off the field and let's punt and give it back to our defense. So, I mean, I think Josh has done a lot in terms of convincing McDermott that, like, I have a good feel for the game. You know, I can, if I say we're going to go, like, let's go, I feel like we can get it. And I think McDermott has responded. I think that bodes well as the postseason continues on. Like, you're not worried about them necessarily punting. You're not worried about them getting behind the sticks on third down because, you know, Mario, we talk about all the time on the Brockport games, right? Like, get half of it now, go for it on fourth down. You know, it's 3rd and 12, get 8. Now you're 4th and 4. Like, you're comfortable with that with Josh Allen as your quarterback at 4th and 4. So those are things I think, and you know, is a defense like Jacksonville, you know, like Houston, a hyper aggressive defense. Like, are they built for those 4th down situations? Like, are they built for those hard counts? Are they built for those, like, those hard nosed up the middle 4th and 1, 4th and 2? We're just going to give it to, you know, James Cook or Ty Johnson with Gilliam in front of them and, like, good luck man on man. You know, those are situations where I like Buffalo against Jacksonville. What I don't like necessarily are the situations where it's like, we know they're going to run the football, so let's stack the box and make James Cook beat us. I think that's where kind of like play action is going to come into play, getting Josh on the move like we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah. I mean, we just don't know the status of that ankle or that foot. That's going to be the key. You know what I mean? If they can get, I know it sounds simple enough, but if they can get Cook going, a lot of that stuff revolves around that play action.
And then stay with him. I think that's the key, right? Like, they had Cook going in that Houston game, Paul. We talked about it. Like, they had Cook going. He rushed for like, I think, almost 80 yards in the first half, right? And then he still lost.
Yeah, that was the only game they lost where he ran over 100. Yeah, he was so dominant in the first half of that game. He was just so dominant.
Yeah, well, a lot of that was the one. He had 2 really big runs, right? Other than that, he really couldn't get going.
Yeah, but then, you know, and then Spencer Brown was banged up. Deion Dawkins was banged up. How much did that impact?
Everybody was banged up.
I mean, there was a lot of things that I think went into that. But the big thing also was they just went away from him. Like, it just seemed like they just kind of took him off the field and wouldn't put the ball in his hands late in that game. And they've done that with him in the past, right? Like, we've criticized them for, like, why is Cook? Was it last year in the playoffs? I think against the Chiefs, maybe, like, Cook left the field. Like, his last touch was like 9.5 minutes left in the football game.
Yeah.
And, like, he never touched it again.
Yeah.
You know, so again, will history rear its ugly head in those scenarios? And will Brady panic and just say, Josh, go save me?
Well, let's take a step back from that real quick, because I do want to call out the Jags have the 4th ranked offense as far as length of completions, right? So the Bills averaged 11.4 yards per completion this year, which is 16th, which is incredible. It's an incredible number to begin with. That an average pass was a first down. The Jags were 13.2. It's a very explosive defense, and you're going to be out without Max Hairston. Is the secondary fast enough to be able to compete with a team that they will throw the ball down the field? They are not going to throw screen passes and expect, like the Bills offense, you give the ball to Shakir and say, please make something out of nothing, right? Take this 2-yard play, get 6. The Jags offense doesn't really work like that. Is this team in the back end going to be able to keep up? Now, mind you, the Bills are the number 1 rated pass defense in the league. They gave up under 160 yards passing per game, I believe. I think let me double check that stat. I believe, if I'm going off the top of my head, that's what it was. But yeah, that's right. Passing yards allowed per game, 156.9. I don't want the numbers to say in the numbers versus the personnel to be a different answer here, right? The numbers say even without Hairston, they still should be able to shut down a Jags defense or Jags offense that likes to push the ball down the field. The question is, without Hairston, will they be able to? And is this going to be a rotation? And is that what they're going to do? They're just going to keep rotating guys and just say, listen, let's just keep fresh legs out there. It doesn't even matter who it is, right? Is Buffalo going to lose the matchup game? Because we know how Buffalo likes to run their concepts and they don't play man. They don't play assignment football. Like, what are you guys expecting walking into this game where Jacksonville is going to test that secondary, and especially likely without Hairston?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Look at things like when you look at things like explosive play percentage, and you look at things like, points per drive, and you look at like average yards per play, like they rank below the Bills in every single one of those metrics. EPA per plays, they're flat 0, right? So which means that their plays that are big plays don't result in more points than an average drive would have accomplished, right? They're only 6% explosive play percentage for like, when we talk about the Bills and how like sometimes stunted their offense looks, like the Bills are 7.3% explosive play percentage, which means 7.3% of the plays they run are explosive plays, big plays down the field, right? And the Jags, by and large, are worse than the Bills in every single one of those metrics. So like, yeah, like, do they score on big plays? Sure. But I think, again, who they played, they've played pretty bad defenses for the most part, with the exception of Houston this season. Indy doesn't really give up a lot of explosive plays, so they've played those two teams twice each. But, it's going to come down to, like, you can't let a guy like Brian Thomas beat you downfield. You can't let a guy like Parker Washington beat you downfield. You're not worried about those guys catching the ball in front of you, because they're not guys that are gonna make you miss, right? They're not Justin Jefferson. They're not these guys that are going to catch it a slant and go to the house. That's just not who they are. They're going to catch balls up over the top that Trevor Lawrence gets out in front of them, and they're behind Cam Lewis or behind, for whatever reason, Cole Bishop. Like, those are the plays you have to worry about. And I think, Mario, better than probably anyone here, like, McDermott does a pretty good job of mitigating those. Like, he knows how to play a secondary to limit those big plays up over the top.
Yeah.
He's done that every season against, look at Kansas City. Like, when's the last time that in the playoffs that Kansas City beat you on a big play down the field where, Tyreek Hill got behind you? Like, it didn't happen. Like, they were beating you underneath those little nitpick plays down the field, and kind of a piece here, a piece there. So, I'm not worried necessarily about McDermott in this secondary allowing that big play up over the top, which is where Jacksonville's found their success.
Yeah, another thing you got to take into consideration that Patrick McCarry is a name that you guys probably never heard of. He's the starting offensive lineman, 28 years old. Started the first 14 games for the Jags. They've been without him for the last 3 on IR. And they have 2 rookies behind him, a 3rd and 7th round pick. Could be something to watch, where they're trying to take advantage of weakness up in the middle of that defense. And once you have guys that are inexperienced on that offensive line, albeit, they've had 3 games to prepare for this, you're still going to keep guys off of your second level, which is going to benefit the Bills' rush defense. So if you can try to make them one-dimensional, in that respect, what do you think hurts you more? ETN breaking the big play, or wide receiver going over the top breaking the big play? Now, Ryan already said he's really good at mitigating that. They don't get anything behind them. They don't really give up huge plays. It's those little needling plays that, it's 2nd and 17 and they gave up 15 yards. It's not going to show up a lot in the stat sheet, and not a lot of people are going to talk about it, but it's one of those things that keeps drives going. How are you going to get Jacksonville off the field? Are you going to try to exploit certain things? Are you try to exploit, Lawrence's inexperience, the fact that he's played 2 playoff games, he has 5 touchdowns and 5 picks. He will put the ball in harm's way. Allen has played 13 playoff games and has 6 turnovers total. That's fumbles and interceptions. So, it's one of those things where if Allen will just be Allen, that's enough pressure to put on another team. But we have to take into consideration it's copycat league. They're in the same division with Houston that pistol whipped the Bills. So do they, like you say, I said before, do they take something out of that book if they have the horses to do it? I don't think they do.
Just to point out, Jacksonville was number 2 in the league in interceptions this year with 22, right? So they don't get there with pass rush. I'll tell you that.
No.
Right? Like they certainly don't generate turnovers with pass rush. But not to say that the Bills do either, right? But Jacksonville is definitely a team that has benefited from a fair amount of interceptions this year. Now, mind you, could that contribute to their record being what it is? Anytime you can garner more, possessions, oftentimes you're going to win, right? Everybody knows football is a game of possessions. And if you look at the teams that are leading the league in interceptions, it's the Bears at 23, the Jags at 22, the Houston Texans, Chargers, and Seahawks are at 18 and 19 respectively, right? They're all playoff teams. and it's some of them division winners, right? Like turnovers matter here. Now the question is Jacksonville's secondary going to generate enough turnovers to put pressure on each Bills possession? Because I think that's where everybody kind of knows if you can limit the Bills possessions, you can put them down, right? Like you could put pressure on Buffalo because they'll 3 and out. And especially with this defense, the defense is 24th in third down conversions, right? Like you get possessions against Buffalo, you get extended drives against this Bills defense. The question is, could you take a couple possessions away from this Bills offense via a fumble, like a James Cook fumble, or via, like an interception, that bounces off of Keon Coleman, right? Like I don't want to put things into being. I'm mentioning things that I've seen happen, right? But those little things matter. In some years, they're just more beneficial than others. And I think if you're Jacksonville, you're hoping for a bunch of 5-minute drives. Like you're hoping to keep this Bills offense off the field, and you're praying to get a turnover or 2 along the way.
Well, yeah. In talking about that, Paul, Jacksonville in their last 6 wins, they have 4 turnovers. Or they've forced 13 and they have 4.
Yeah.
So you win the plus minus by 9, you're getting an extra 2 possessions a game.
Yeah.
And it flips those games around, and you're not playing very good competition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be another one of those things too, because you're playing against Cook out of the Jets, like, or you know what I mean? Like,
well, and I think Ryan will back this up, right? Sugar High Josh has a tendency to be reckless, right?
Not in the playoffs though, really. You think about it in the playoffs, he really doesn't put the ball in harm's way in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think we can all be critical of Josh being a little too controlling of the football in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we could all be critical of him there.
If the possessions are, let's ask this question. I'll ask it for the chat too. If the possessions are equal, who wins this game?
Buffalo. Ryan, you said Buffalo. Yeah.
So I mean, again, let's look at, just over the course of the season, right? When you talk about big plays, Bills have 77, the Jags have 72, right? So like advantage Bills, and big plays defined as 20 or more yards in a play, right? ETN's got 7 big rushes, James Cook's got 9, like 12. They've got 30 rushing touchdowns total in Buffalo. They've got 22 rushing touchdowns in Jacksonville, right? So like when you talk about like offense to offense, like Buffalo's a better offensive football team, and you probably did not expect to say that about this Buffalo Bills offense, right? Like when you look at if you've watched all of the games, like we've watched them struggle almost every single game at some point in the game. So like to say like, yeah, Jacksonville is a team that's really good. They limit 100-yard rushers. But when's the last time they played an offense like this? It's been a long time, right? The last time they did it was against the Rams, and they got their doors blown off, right? Like, but when you look at Buffalo and it's like, when's the last time they played an offense like this? I don't know, 2 weeks ago. Like they did pretty good against Philly, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so I think when you look at it from team to team and you break it down, if all things are equal, right? Same number of possessions, turnover differentials at 0. I think you have to give the advantage to Buffalo, because that's playoff football, right, Mario? Like that's playoff football. So when things are equal and you get to the playoffs and everyone's on equal footing, what's the rule of thumb? Take the quarterback. And like, again, like Trevor Lawrence has had a good season, over 4,000 yards passing. He's done a good job of limiting the turnovers, but he's not Josh Allen. Like he's not even in the situation to like throw a rock and hit Josh Allen when it comes to quarterback play in the NFL at this point, just from playoff experience and what can you do with the ball in your hand and like all of these things. Like, so yeah, Mario, like if same number of possessions, give me the quarterback. Like give me the guy on the sideline that's got number 17 and strikes fear into the hearts of defenses. This defense is not coming into this football game afraid of Trevor Lawrence. I can promise you that. Like when Sean McDermott breaks down film with this defense, they are not scared of Trevor Lawrence. They're scared of like what this offense can do potentially. Like this offense can put up points. This offense can have big plays, but they're not going, got to find out where, got to find Lawrence on every play. Got to know where 16 is. right? Like, but when you're getting ready for Buffalo, like, where's 17? Like, yeah, they got the rushing champion in their backfield. The hell with him. Like, where's 17? Like, and that's the difference maker in a game like this.
Yeah. So Paul, going off of that, and just basically what Ryan just said, who are you keying if you're in Babbich's seat? Who are you keying on that offense?
So I think Parker Washington is their biggest threat, right? And not to say anything negative about Brian Thomas Jr., right? Physically speaking, that's not comparable, right? Like from a physical threat standpoint, two completely different players. But Parker Washington in the last 8 weeks has been gold for them. And I think that's somebody that you look to try and I think most teams would attack Parker Washington early in routes, right? And say, listen, we're just going to smash him up early, right? We're going to try and dog him out a little bit. We're going to try and drag him to deep water. Let's be in his pocket the whole game. And let's get a little chippy with him. Let's see how durable he is. The truth is we know Buffalo's going to give him space to run routes because that's what Buffalo does. Buffalo right. Does. Like, so
listen, like, unless again, like, we've seen him do it before. Like, does McDermott just come out with Benford and just say, you're a big physical corner, you're bigger than he is? Like, just go play physical with him.
Yeah.
Like, just go wear him out. Like, I mean, we've seen McDermott deploy different defensive strategies in the postseason than he's used in the regular season. And I could absolutely see, like, Trey and, a safety over the top of Brian Thomas and just Christian Benford and or Teron Johnson, just like wherever he lines up on this defense, just like get up on him, make it tough for him to get off. If he gets off, like, you got help behind you, and make his life difficult to where, maybe he's going to hurt you a couple times in the first half, but that second half, maybe he's worn down by then.
I think if you're McDermott, you want Brandon Strange to be their leading receiver.
Absolutely.
On Sunday, right? Like, that's, if you do that, you've shut out the weapons on their team, right? If you can make Brandon Strange 7 for 60, you've done your job, right? Like that, you're going to win that football game. Yeah.
Well, and you're also,
forget, they've got Jacoby Myers, right? Like, he's a fine piece. Like, you got to kind of know where he's at. But, when you look at between Jacoby Myers and Brian Thomas Jr., neither one of them has a 100-yard receiving game this season. Like, and that would surprise you coming into this season.
Yeah, big time.
That would have surprised you going, hey, Brian Thomas isn't going to have a 100-yard receiving game this season. Brian Thomas is only going to have 2 touchdowns this season, and only one of them coming after, like, October 3rd.
That's fantasy football, Ryan, talking to you guys, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, hey, like, this is a guy that I drafted. You drafted high, right, in fantasy football, because he was late last season. Like, he looked like if he had played the end of last season, the beginning of last season, like he played the end of last season, he would have been the offensive rookie of the year. Right, like, that's how good he was in the second half of last season. And this season, it's just been brutal for him. Like, brutal. And I just, I'm not, I think Parker Washington's the guy to worry about. He's 5'10", 200 pounds. Like, that's what he's listed at, which means he's probably like 5'9", 195. Like, so I like my chances with Christian Benford and Teron Johnson getting physical with him and just kind of making him work off the line of scrimmage.
I'm so interested to see who the inactives are and see what kind of packages they want to try to throw at them. Because if you talk about a high explosive offense, the last time they played a very high explosive offense, aside from Burrow, because he was in the second game back, you want to talk about the Chiefs and Michael Hoyt. Were they grooming Judon to do that Hoyt package, or are they using, Dorian Williams for that package? It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to mix in a lot of the things that they've been doing over the past few weeks that have been very successful against, heavy pass teams, and what's going to happen. But little nugget I wanted to give you guys is, you guys know who the defensive coordinator is for Jacksonville?
Oh, I know this.
I have no idea.
Anthony Campanelli.
That's what it was.
Oh, okay. All right.
The reason why I bring him up is that he was, throughout Josh Allen's development years, the linebacker coach in Miami. If there's a guy who's been tortured by 17 and wants to evict the ghosts of Christmas past, it's this guy.
Well, and let's not forget that the linebackers for Jacksonville their two starting linebackers, Jones and who's the other one?
can't pronounce
Jones
his name.
and Devin Lloyd. That's who it is. Devin Lloyd and
No, it's not
Ernest
Lloyd.
Jones.
Oh.
They each have 5 interceptions apiece this year, which is
Wow.
weird to have 10 interceptions from your linebacking group, right? Like that's
us.
weird.
For us, it's weird.
That's weird. I will tell you this though, Dorian Williams blitz packages are pretty fun. I know it was the Jets, right? Like I know it was the Jets. Don't get me wrong, right?
Well,
But
it was also the Eagles. He did it a lot in the Eagles too, and he blew up some plays that
Yeah.
were going on there. And he's one of those guys that we talked about with Edmonds, that just let him go straight off the edge. Let him use his speed and his size and go off the edge. He's coming in there like a bullet, and he doesn't care who he knocks over. You do a twist or a stunt with Dorian Williams, he's hitting that tackle, and the tackle has his side turned toward the defensive end, and he's just coming in there like a bat out of hell. I mean, and that's what we saw in the Kansas City game firsthand when they wanted to use Hoyt in those packages. I think they're just starting to sprinkle it in to try to get him to do that. But the other side of that is, you think Jacksonville has seen that enough now that they're like, okay, this guy's going to be rushing, and do they drop him out? See if he could pick one off. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It doesn't have that brace on his arm anymore. I haven't seen him wear it in 2 games. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do with Dorian Williams as far as their second level packages go, because like, I really think that the offensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars can be had. And McDermott loves getting pressure with his front 4. If that front 4 could start eating in the middle of that, in the middle of that offense, and get pressure right in Lawrence's face, he's going to put the ball in harm's way. You can guarantee he's going to put the ball in harm's way. Can the Bills capitalize when he does?
I know you keep saying that.
I think he will. I'm not saying the Bills are going to pick off 3 passes and get all these crazy turnovers. What I'm saying is this guy has not seen a defense like this in probably 9 weeks. That's when he played with Seattle.
It's number 1 pass defense in the league. Like,
well, you take that with a grain of salt, Paul. You take it with a grain of salt.
I know.
Everyone's running on them. No one needs a pass.
Yeah, I know.
First ranked rush defense. Are we worried about a 200-yard game from ETN? No.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like when we talk about inactives, right? Like it's like easy answers Coleman, right? Like Coleman's an inactive.
Oh, you want Davis over Coleman? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Davis over Coleman, I think, and Coleman gives you nothing other than nothing on offense, right? Like they tried him at punt return.
He doesn't even draw coverage.
I know. I mean, and they tried him at punt return yesterday, and that was really only to like make sure that
keep Shakir off the field. Yeah, that was just to keep Shakir off the field.
Right. So like you've got you know Coleman's inactive, you know Hairston's inactive, right? So like those are 2. So you got to find 4 more guys, right? Like so
Shakir,
Savage,
Davis,
Hancock,
Cooks, and Shavers.
like Hancock, Shaver, Savage,
Judon.
I don't know. Like I thought Judon got stronger as the game went yesterday, right? Like you could tell he was kind of working his way back in it. They did move him around. Like he had hand in dirt a couple times. He was standing up, rushing the passer a couple times. Like they kind of bumped him out and they had him jam a tight end a couple times. I was trying to keep an eye on him when I saw him on the field, but he wears number 36. So it's really kind of like tough to keep an eye on where he's at on the field. But I would not be surprised if Judon, I mean, but he's the practice squad guy, right? So like, you're not going to elevate him to make him inactive. So, Prater maybe inactive if he had a kicker. So it will be interesting, Mario. Like it will tell what they're going to prioritize and try to stop depending on who's inactive, right? Like if there's a defensive tackle and a defensive end that are inactive, they're going to try and stop the pass. They're not worried about ETN. No. Right, like if you've got Fedarian Mathis and Ogunjobi both active, it's like, okay, well, maybe they're going to try and stop the run. Maybe they're worried about ETN for whatever reason, getting a volume situation going. So, I just think offensively for Buffalo, like it's going to be business as usual. It's been the last few games. It's going to be Cooks. It's going to be Shavers. It's going to be Shakir. Palmer. And Gabe Davis. Like those are your 5 receivers. You'll go 3 tight ends, Kincaid, Knox, and Hawes. Your 3 running backs, Reggie Gilliam, and your starting gambit of linemen with a couple of guys peppered in depending on where someone's banged up, right? So like if VPJ is active, Van Granger's active, like, okay, well maybe McGovern's a little banged up that we don't know about. They haven't been listed on the injury report, but they're worried about a center, right? So I mean, offensively, I don't expect any surprises. Defensively, I think depending on inactives, you're going to know their defensive strategy like before the game even starts.
It was interesting to see Torrance in there for the whole game. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were guys that they wanted to get more work, right? There were guys. I mean, and Torrance, you can make the argument this has been his worst season as a pro in terms of pass block, right? Like it seems like he can't drop that anchor anymore. Like he's been really good over the last few seasons. I mean, they made a film about him last year with Chris Jones, right, where he just drops his anchor, and it's like, good luck, guy. He hasn't really had that this season. He's struggled on that right side. And that's been apparent, right? They go left in short yardage situations. Like they run away from him and Spencer Brown a lot. So, I think that's why he got a lot of looks, time on task. That's why Harrison was out there. Although, like, come on, like, what are you doing? The kid's already, been banged up off and on all this season. Like, what is he doing in halfway through the fourth quarter in a meaningless football game, right? And McDermott's excuse was like, well, we were shorthanded. We didn't have anybody else to play at corner. Well, funny, because someone stepped in at corner, like when he went down. So you had someone to step in. It was Hancock. Like they moved Hancock over. Yeah. And
he's not a boundary corner though. Like,
it's the Jets.
Like, okay,
it's the Jets.
You're up 35-0. Like, who cares if he's a boundary corner? Put Dorian Williams in there as a boundary corner at that point. Like, I get where you're coming from, Mario, but like, what are we doing here, man? You can't leave your rookie who's been banged up all season out there, late in the fourth quarter in a game like that.
And hopefully they don't pay for it on Sunday. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about
could use his speed. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, ain't that the truth? Let's talk a little bit about playoff scenarios, right? So this is off of TSN's Instagram. It's just a graphic that's easy to look at. Obviously, it is easy to look at. So the Bills and the Jags, I think, the only way that you avoid the Broncos, right, is if miraculously the Chargers beat the Patriots, which I just don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell that is going to happen, right? Like I just don't think so. No, guys.
Like
I don't know.
In
Foxborough,
this season's been drunk all year, Paul.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like when you talk about playoffs, man, like give me quarterback, give me coach, and like I think you can give the edge to the Chargers in both those scenarios. Like I'd rather have Herbert than May.
No,
like just from a pure talent perspective, like when Herbert's on, like when Herbert's on, he's a top 5 quarterback in this league. Like when Drake May's on, like he's been on all season, but that's as good as he is, right? Like he's not a world beater when he's on, at least.
To me, the only prayer that they had was if the league suspended Diggs for his current legal issues.
That Chargers pass rush, I mean, they get after it. They're a good defensive football team. Like it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a better game than maybe some are expecting it to be. And Vegas agrees. I mean, I think they're what? It's a maybe a 1.5 point game again. Like New England is one of the teams that's favored.
One of the few home teams that's favored in the AFC. Yeah.
And you got to remember they have wins over Kansas City, Denver, and Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's New England minus 3.5, right? So Vegas has them as 2-point favorites. It's about 1.5 now for being a home team. So, and that's a West Coast team going east.
Yeah,
and I thought the NFL did them a favor by giving them the 8:00 game on Sunday, right? West Coast team going east, and you draw an 8:00 game. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it looks like if Buffalo wins, right, you're going to Denver, which is a matchup I am just so happy to get. Right,
sure.
Like just put the nail in that coffin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're
that
Buffalo,
defense is really good.
I understand, right? But Buffalo is being lauded because they're a wild card team now, right? And this is a team that everybody thought was going to be number 1 in the NFL and everything, right? And they can't even win their own division. So I think you slay the dragon, right? Like there's no Kansas City around, so go slay the dragon, right? Who's the dragon? Well, it just turns out to be the Broncos this year. That looks like an unavoidable scenario.
Yeah, but I mean,
in all
like
likelihood,
Mario, just like the defense is really good. Like where's Denver different than where they were last year? Like, how
They-
is Denver any different of
just-
a football team than they were last year? Buffalo,
They've just eked
blew
out
them
wins
last year.
I
They've
I
had
think
very fortunate one-score games.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Buffalo beat them 31-7 last year. Like, is that Denver team really any different than this Denver team, other than just like they had some balls bounce their way this year that they didn't have last year? Offensively, it's the same team. With the only difference is they added RJ Harvey, who's okay, like fine. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not worried about Denver. Like, yeah, sign me up for a trip to Mile High
yeah
in the divisional round.
yeah
There's
and
13 one-score games.
yeah I was just gonna
13
say
one-score games they played
Yeah.
this season.
Denver,
Yeah.
I mean, that's 2024 Chiefs.
Yeah, they won
Right?
6 games by 3 points or less this year. It was against the Jets, the Giants, the Texans, the Raiders, the Chiefs in week 11, who were dead in the water at that point, and the Commanders, in week 13.
Yeah.
So the teams that they
non-Jaden
barely
Daniels
beat,
Commanders.
the Marcus Mariota Commanders. So like the teams that they barely beat, there's only one of them that's in the playoffs. There's only one of the playoff team.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think Denver's a little bit of a paper tiger, right? So I'm more than happy to go to Denver and answer that question, right? Yeah, it's Sean Payton, right? Like, I challenge you to find another coach who's going to have his team as prepared as Sean Payton, right? Like, Sean Payton lived in the playoffs for a long time. So
I mean,
it'll be
Buffalo
fun.
beat them by 24 last year. I mean, I thought
Yeah.
Sean Payton was going to have them ready to play last year too, and they got their doors blown off. It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. So looking at Steelers Texans, I there's no reason that we could believe the Steelers are going to win that game, right? So
I
at
mean,
that
I'll
point,
never bet against Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, but like, I don't see a path. for the Steelers
I could bet
to
against this Aaron Rodgers.
I don't.
I bet against this
I don't
one.
see a. I mean, did any of us see a path for the Ravens? Like, for the Steelers to get past the Ravens yesterday?
Mm-mm.
No, I didn't really. So
The fact that the Ravens were even in the conversation after the way their season started, like, good for them.
yeah,
Good for them.
yeah. I mean, so like you said, Paul, like that's so it's Buffalo, Denver in the divisional round, and then like the dream matchup for Buffalo is just
Yeah.
let New England and Houston go like duke it out with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
know,
just
beat
go
both
go
of
have
them.
fun. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's from a scenario standpoint, from a draw standpoint. I mean, this is as good a draw as you can ask for, like, in reality. So that's why I don't like to see a Bills team lay down week 17, but they still beat the pants off the Jets. If it were any other team, I might have been a little miffed about it, but I was totally fine with what they did. The final week of the season, week 18. So it looks like it could be Buffalo Jags. If Buffalo wins, then you're going to Denver, and then you win there and you just get the winner of Houston, New England. Now, the downside there is that the only way you get a home playoff game is if the Chargers run the table.
Yep.
That's the only way you get one more game in that stadium, which is a shame. But that's why, like, I think you're going to see that final hope of having an AFC Championship game dashed week 1 of the playoffs. I just don't see any way the Chargers can beat the Patriots. That is probably my cynicism coming through. I'm not going to deny that. That is probably my cynicism coming through. But
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, like, I think there's a path. This league is just bonkers this year. Like, I don't know what's going to happen week in and week out, right? Like, you had a 67-yard field goal at one point yesterday. You had a 44-yard miss to win the division and go to the playoffs. Like, it's just, this season's drunk. And again, like, when Herbert's on, like, that offense clicks. Like, he's a poor man's Josh Allen in terms of, like, as he goes, so goes the offense. The difference is, like, Herbert can't take over a game like Allen can as consistently as it happens. But, like, when Herbert's on, I mean, Mario, like, I don't know. Am I wrong? Like, Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league when he's spinning it.
Well, given a lot of circumstances around him, yeah, he's got to get in a rhythm. Allen really doesn't. He's proven he doesn't need a rhythm at this point.
Yeah, and defensively, like, it's an opportunistic Chargers defense. Like, Drake May has shown that he can turn the football over. The Chargers can they can put pressure on the kid. It's his first playoff start. Like, there's a lot of things I think that are working against New England in this football game. So, like, the cynicism, yeah, for sure. Maybe the optimist in me is like, yeah, I see a path for Buffalo, LA, in Buffalo, like,
How
for the
fitting.
AFC title. Like, I see a path for it, because I'm not scared of New England for Los Angeles. I think it could be a close football game. And, like, again, give me the quarterback, give me the coach in those scenarios. And then then they go to Denver. Okay. The downside is Buffalo then needs to go through Jacksonville and Houston. And, like, that's an issue for me, right? Like, I'd prefer to see Houston in the AFC title game and give me CJ Stroud in a big moment, because I think the kid will crumble.
Yeah.
Like all Ohio State quarterbacks do in big moments.
Yeah, it's
right?
just, there's the greatest Ohio State quarterback is Tom Tupa, and I can't be talked off that ledge. Like, he's the greatest quarterback from Ohio State. And there's just no,
because we're not counting Burrow as an Ohio
no,
State
Burrow doesn't count. Yeah, no, Burrow doesn't count. Neither does Cam Newton. They don't count.
13
Right.
years. 13 years of this. 13 years.
All right, guys. So that is going to wrap up the show for this evening. Thank you again to our sponsor, Mr. Rogers Homes. If you're looking for real estate and investment property, or relocating, because we're all shoveling this time of year, Arizona may be the place for you. Check out the description for the relocation guide, and check out his app as well. Thank you again, Ryan and Mario. Spirited discussion.
Hey, are we afraid of predictions? Do we dare?
I'm okay with predictions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Are we talking score predictions? Is that it?
Yeah, just who wins and what's the score? I think that's fair, right? I'm gonna go Bills win. I'm gonna say 27-17 Buffalo.
Interesting.
Either one of you guys can jump in.
9-7. No, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I've been telling everyone it's gonna be a 3-point game for the Jags in a heartbreaker. But that, like Paul, it's my cynicism talking. So I'll go.
Give an honest. I mean, it might be refreshing for a Bills podcaster to pick against the Bills, because none of the other ones do.
Well, I've been saying 31-28 Jags.
Okay.
So I'll stick with that.
So it's funny you say that, because I was going to go 31-27 Bills. That was the way I was going to go. So I see that.
You're very
So
optimistic. They're gonna
31-27.
make 4 extra points. I'm so proud of you.
So Paul,
No, they don't need to make 4 extra
31-27,
points.
Is that a garbage time touchdown for Jacksonville to make it that, or is it a Josh Allen march down the field?
Oh no, Jacksonville's not going to be stupid enough to give Josh an opportunity to win. They're going to try and pull it out at their last possession. Yeah, no, but they're going to try and pull it out their last possession. But I mean, we'll see, right? Like, I definitely could see this Bills defense giving up almost 30 to Jacksonville, right? Like, it's just, I don't think that's debatable.
I could see this Bills defense with McDermott. Like, the one place that I've got faith in McDermott is the ability to get a defense ready for the playoffs, and like, I could see them pitching a shutout through 3 in this game. Like, I don't have faith that Jacksonville's that good of an offense. I just really don't. Like, when you look at the numbers up and down, like, nobody scares you on this offense. Like, as an offense, sure, like, they're good, but who scares you? Nobody.
Paul, make him watch the Cleveland game again.
Haven't watched what? The Cleveland game?
Yeah.
All right. Lock it in. Mario's the only dissenter. So
Yes,
see.
I'm the traitor, apparently, in the chat.
Mario's fine with not being popular.
Yeah.
Remember his haircut?
Oh boy. We're gonna go there.
I need a haircut. I'm trending towards Granada land.
I know you're ready to pull it back.
Yeah, I do. I could pony this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mario, you should let him borrow some hair ties.
They're all gone.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Go Bills. We'll see you all next week after the game.
Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth, and right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? If you're interested, reach out to me. We'll have a confidential, no obligation question and answer conversation. You have absolutely nothing to lose, possibly everything to gain. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!